Welcome to Thunder Nerds. I'm Brian Hinton.
I'm Janelle Pizarro.
And I'm Frederick Philip Von Weiss. And thank you for consuming the Thunder Nerds, a conversation with the people behind the technology
that love what they do.
And do tech good.
Yeah, we're doing tech today, guys. Hey, we are here at DevFest 2019.
In Orlando.
In Orlando, Florida. We're super happy to be here, part of the conference, and we're just honored and just... It's amazing. We're super thrilled to be here. And we're joined by Joey deVilla. Joey!
Hi there. Hey, yeah. Glad to be back.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you back. And I know we just spoke to you just a little bit ago. And we're actually going to have Joey on the podcast, the regular podcast, on January 31st. So that's coming up too. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and we'll go way more in depth. But yeah, we're so excited to have you, Joey. Joe, how you been, man? What you been up to?
Really busy. Basically, working at Sourcetoad, Tampa-based software development company, keeping clients happy. So I'm lead product manager there. So it's my job to cat herd the programmers into writing the applications and talk to the customers to make sure they're getting the applications they want.
Cat herd is an amazing word. I love
it. Yeah. And then let's see now. I'm also helping out at raywenderlich.com. They're a sponsor here. So it's the mobile development tutorial site, iOS, Android, and more. Cool. So I'm also, in addition to speaking here, I'm helping mind the booth in the hallway.
Oh, nice.
So that should be fun. There's a raffle for the books.
Provides the entertainment.
He's a volunteer.
There's a raffle for the books too.
Yeah, there's a raffle for the books. 25 of them. Yeah.
Dang.
And I learned iOS from one of the Ray Wenderlich books. So yeah, they're good. They're really good.
And if people want to find out more about them, where do they go?
You would go to raywenderlich.com.
Ooh, can you spell that?
Okay, RAYWENDERLICH.
Yes,
nice.
I love it.
We'll put a link in the show notes, obviously, too. But yeah, that helps for me to know that.
Exactly. No, and then of course speaking today, Jupyter Notebook. So there's always the prepping for, there's prepping for that as well. So yeah, I've been busy, and then chatting earlier the 6-speaker Google Hangout earlier.
Oh yeah. That was great to have you on.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, that was the coolest.
Yeah, we enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, Brian wasn't there.
Sorry.
Schedules. No, things are crazy. Things are crazy. Things are always crazy, but that's good. I'd rather be busy than bored.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah. I don't think we've ever really when we spoke to you a few times, but we haven't really jumped into Toad. Do you mind telling us a little bit about it? Okay.
Well, Sourcetoad is it's now a 10-year-old software development shop. Founded by Greg Ross Monroe and a few friends who started off doing projects for doing small projects for friends and people they knew, and it has since grown. So we're at the point right now where Sourcetoad, a good chunk of Sourcetoad's business comes from the cruise ship industry.
Oh, really?
So cruise ships are big. Yeah, cruise ships are big floating hotels that can move. Yeah. And they require a lot of technology. And these days, guests actually want to have the nice tech in their rooms and helping them out, and helping them out with their experiences. And cruise ships are now at the point where they're going, you know what, anything you can do in a boring, stationary land hotel, you should also be able to do on a cruise ship. So there's a Royal Caribbean cruise ship with a go-kart track.
Yeah, gone. Wow.
And you keep hearing plans that eventually they want to put a roller coaster on one. But yeah, anything you can do on a cruise ship, anything you can do on a land hotel, you should also be able to do on a cruise ship, and that includes all the passenger-facing systems, kiosks, the in-cabin entertainment. Just making sure the technology that just makes sure that your luggage ends up in your room and not somebody else's, and you're not wearing you're not spending your vacation wearing somebody else's underwear. Yeah, that is all technology driven. Oh yeah. Was that not fun?
No.
Or have you switched over to phones?
It was okay. I mean, I grew to enjoy it, and I like the prints.
There we go. Yeah. I mean, if you want to join Team Thong, you want to do it intentionally and not because
#Team Thong.
Team Thong. Oh boy.
Team Thong.
Yeah. Forget Team Edward and Team. What was the werewolf kid? I totally forgot.
Jacob.
Team Thong. Team Jacob.
Yeah.
Team Thong.
Team Thong.
We lost you now.
You guys broke me.
Happens every day.
Oh my gosh. What I had a question, but now I'm like so in my head now. Oh my
Was
gosh.
it
Yes.
programming related
It
or
was
song
totally-
related? Okay.
It's about thoughts.
Oh,
So you're talking about Jupyter notebooks today. Please tell us more before I die.
There's the planet Jupiter.
okay.
That's a gas
Let her
giant.
breathe. Let her breathe.
we'll let Chanel get some air. But okay, Jupyter notebooks, all right, are the favorite tool of data science, which has been called the sexiest job of the 21st century.
Yeah.
That does not involve thongs, but
No, don't do it.
I know I can't resist.
That was not
But
nice.
anyway,
Nuts.
but no. Data science is the thongs of technology,
Well
and
said.
What Jupyter Notebooks basically does is it
That's
lets
weird,
you
isn't it?
create these documents. It lets you create documents that also have code embedded in it. That way you can show your work. So you can produce a report, but you can also inject in the middle of it code with data that draws graphs, that runs interactive simulations, that does the math, that actually just proves your paper. And it's being used by a whole bunch of people who need to be able to show their work. So there is a tiny little academic competition called the Nobel Prize in Economics.
Haven't heard
And
of it.
the Nobel Prize in Economics winner this year wrote about income inequality, and his report was in a Jupyter notebook.
Whoa.
Wow.
You just dropped the mic, didn't you?
Yeah, well, actually, and I get to do it again because there's a tiny little video startup you may have heard of. They're called Netflix. And they are totally, and they use Jupyter notebooks because they are a data-driven organization.
Makes sense.
They make money when the menu you see as soon as you fire up Netflix shows you the videos that you are most interested in. So they actually have thousands of Jupyter notebooks driving their process that helps put the videos that you want to see right in front of your face.
Wow. What does that look like? What's that process like for them?
For them, actually, they have this giant. If you do a search on Netflix and Jupyter, Jupyter spelled with a Y because it's got Python in the name, and all Python projects have to have the letters PY in the name.
Of course.
It's almost like a law.
Yeah.
And if you do a search for Netflix and Jupyter, one thing you'll find an article where they talk about how they use it in their workflow. It's this really dense diagram, but basically it's all about taking the data that they collect from their users, the metrics, how much time you're spending, that sort of thing. And they turn it into reports that they figure, okay, we know what certain people like. We know that if you're in the 18 to 35 group, you're going to want to watch this sort of thing. And they do all sorts of interesting things with this data. So I think.
So is there like an API then that you guys have, and then Netflix interfaces with your data? Is that how?
Well, Netflix uses it to actually crunch their own data. So I mean, they can write in. They're basically writing these reports that have. I think they're using Python. Jupyter notebooks can be programmed in a bunch of languages. The preferred one's Python because it's the data scientist's favorite language. It's Python and R. And
who doesn't like pie? So.
Yeah, exactly. So they use it to figure out all kinds of things. So I think once it was a couple of Christmases ago, they found out they used their data to find out who was watching Christmas Prince over and over again. I've never seen it.
I remember hearing about that, I think.
Yeah, anybody who watched Christmas Prince more than 10 times in a row, they would send an email going, "Who hurt you?" It is a really sappy Christmas movie.
Jeez, I haven't seen this. Okay, I'll have to watch this.
So they probably use that when they what was that new one that came out too? For the blind, they cover their eyes.
Bird Box.
Bird
Box.
Yeah, so when they released the announcement saying, "Hey, 45 million people watched it," they probably utilized Jupyter then to get the data on that.
Yeah, something.
Awesome.
Yeah, something like that. So they can
awesome.
do all kinds of interesting data mining and figure out things.
Good job, Jupyter.
Yeah. So Jupyter Notebooks lets you do that, and it lets you produce all kinds of interesting data. So one Jupyter Notebook I'm going to be showing as an example is this researcher, Eleanor Stribling, she did a linguistic analysis of the Harry Potter books, and the way they describe Harry and Ron is different from the way they describe Hermione. Like Hermione, even though J.K. Rowling is a woman herself and is pretty progressive, I think it's just because of habit and the culture and, you know, what you grow up in and what you're used to. Yeah, Hermione is always kind of, the words that are used to describe her are bossy, or she cries a lot, while, you know, Harry and Ron, who are actually kind of idiotic and always need Hermione to save their asses.
Yeah.
Are kind of described as, oh yeah, heroic and interesting. And yeah. But
That's
so she
so
ran
funny.
this
How interesting.
Yeah, so she used a Jupyter notebook and Python data science tools and a whole bunch of Python linguistic analysis tools to kind of go through the text and find these things and create word clouds. But, you know, all kinds of stuff that probably would not be clear if you didn't have a nice tool like Jupyter Notebook. So that's what it's for.
Who's really the person that uses Jupyter Notebooks? Is it mainly data scientists? Is it like who,
right now,
who should be looking at this?
Right now, data scientists. But you know what? If you're writing the thing is, everybody is going to be a data scientist. We are all going to be crunching data. There is so much data out there, and we're collecting it from all these devices now. I mean, how many data collection devices can we get metrics from on this table right here, right now?
24.
Yeah, there's just tons. There's tons, and now we're trying to find. Now we're trying to find meaning in it, and the fact that Facebook can easily pick out our faces, that sort of thing. That's interest. Those are interesting data points. So, I mean, right now, yes, data scientists, but anybody producing a report, students are using it all the time. Machine learning people, the AI people, they're using Jupyter notebooks. Banks, anybody working in finance. Anytime you have to crunch, numbers, and write about it and show your work and make sure that you can prove what you say in your report, a Jupyter notebook is perfect for that.
So this is something that we should all probably be taking a look at, making ourselves a little bit more familiar with it, and perhaps entertaining the thought of this would be a tool that we all might be using in the future.
Yeah, like right now, a Jupyter notebook, having some Jupyter notebook skills in 2019 is like knowing a little bit about iPhone programming in Objective-C in 2008.
The iPhone came out in 2007.
It's the early times, and the App Store didn't open until 2008. So yeah, it's the early times. This is the time to jump in, and data science pays well.
What's the best resource, or what are the best resources that people could turn to start learning this?
Okay, well, definitely Jupyter.org. Remember, that's Jupyter with a Y, JUPYTER.org is a great starting point. My favorite place right now actually is anytime you want to learn something new, go to GitHub and search for that topic name plus the keyword awesome. So if you want to learn, so advice. There is because somebody on GitHub always compiles an awesome list of a specific topic, and there is an awesome Jupyter notebook list on GitHub that's maintained that shows interesting projects. And actually, that's where I picked up most of my Jupyter notebook stuff.
That's so
is from
nifty.
the projects pointed to on the awesome Jupyter list.
Oh my gosh, that's so nifty.
Yeah,
I have a word for that. Awesome.
It's
awesome.
Yeah, it's very awesome.
Absolutely is.
What would you compare Jupyter notebooks to, like something that your everyday developer would kind of know already? Before?
Okay, well, let's see. There's Mathematica notebooks, which were designed to do the exact same thing. So the only difference is that Mathematica is closed source, and it uses its own proprietary language, whereas Jupyter notebooks are open source. They are shareable on GitHub. In fact, you can post a Jupyter notebook on GitHub, and then somebody can use a Jupyter notebook tool like Google Colab to actually run that Jupyter notebook and try it out for themselves.
Cool.
You can't do that with Mathematica without actually shelling out the money to buy Mathematica and do all that.
Does Jupyter Notebooks have a front end at all outside of any, like the example you gave?
Actually, they're basically web pages. Okay. They're web pages running on a web server. Once again, that's free. In fact, if you're a Python programmer, the easiest way to get Jupyter Notebooks is to get the Anaconda distribution of Python, which is a good one anyways. It's the preferred distro for Python. It lets you switch between Python 2 and 3, manage Python projects. But Jupyter notebooks are baked in. And then to fire it up, you go to the command line and type in Jupyter space notebook, hit enter, and you're running.
That sounds too hard.
So
it's
cool.
That's awesome. That's really easy.
That's like, it sounds like it's like for us front end developers, it sounds kind of like CodePen, but for data scientists.
It is.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh my God, new startup.
Whoa. Yeah.
It's Jupyter.
Data pen.
Data pen. Data pen.
Data pen.
Data pen.
Bong pen.
Dun, 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 dun.
When you guys were talking about that, I was picturing like data science, and I'm like a thong sticker.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That'd be great.
That's happening.
But
Happening.
speaking of thongs, accordions.
Oh my goodness.
Great segment.
Accordions.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
okay.
Hey, what is that
Yeah,
toaster piano you got there?
Gary, the toaster piano. This is what I call social hardware. If there is social software, there must also exist social hardware.
Well said.
All right. Took it up completely by accident. I used to live in Toronto, and Toronto is a street musician friendly city. And I thought, okay, you know what? I want to try being a street musician. I think it would be fun. And I was complaining to a friend that I had no talent for guitar. If it didn't have a piano keyboard on it, I'm not very good at playing it. And I was saying, you can't drag a piano. It's very hard to drag a piano or synth onto the street.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, they're either big or they need amps. And my friend then said, look, I have an accordion in my basement. Take it. And I said, okay, that's great. A friend and I, we both got accordions. We took them out on the street, and we ended up outside Toronto's most notorious goth bar, the Sanctuary Vampire Sex Club. It doesn't exist anymore. It's a Starbucks now. It is the saddest.
It's a Starbucks now.
It is Toronto's saddest Starbucks.
That is a hilarious
God.
transition to Starbucks.
God. I'd much rather have the goth club.
Yeah. So we wandered by there in the afternoon, and we ended up inside because it was open, and we're going, what's it doing open in the afternoon?
Yeah.
It turns out they were mopping, and they were just airing it out. And we ended up playing
You need to do that. in
a
Vampire Sex
goth-style
Club.
happy birthday for one of the bouncers. And the DJ comes up and says, look, I have an idea. Come back tonight. Play anything off the Goth Top 20. We'll put you on stage. If you get any applause at all, I will give you all the beer you can drink.
What?
Bela Lugosi's dead.
Yeah.
Undead, undead, undead.
Yeah. Well, we ended up doing 9 Inch Nails' Head Like a Hole.
Nice.
We came back. We got applause, and we got all the beer we could drink that night. And I just said, look, I really should carry this thing around everywhere because
Free beer machine.
yeah, it is a machine that turns music into free beer and adventure.
Yeah.
And I also used to be a developer evangelist with a bunch of companies, including Microsoft and Shopify. And this is a good thing for developer evangelism or starting off or opening any presentation.
I think one of the really good takeaways here too is that it's when you share who you are rather than just kind of like hiding behind like, oh, I do this, but express yourself. Let people know who you are, and also try to. One of the big things we talked about a while ago was diversifying your passions. Not just I live in this or I live in that kind of mode in my computer, but finding some other things that you could share and be a part of, and spread the love out there.
And it's a great fashion accessory too. It's like a really big necklace.
Yeah, they're nice. They also make a great backpack. So So when I'm getting from place to place, I wear this on my back. What? And the other thing,
always up front. It should all like you're in the kitchen cooking, just in case.
Yeah, but then you get bacon splatter, and
always cooking bacon.
Right the bacon.
Always be cooking bacon.
Well, that and bacon is the most splattery of the foods when it comes to frying.
Yeah.
But and the other thing is that accordion design has not changed since the 1920s. They always look like the grill of a really big 50s car. There was a period where they actually tried in the 60s to get kids into accordions, and they made neon paisley accordions. They never sold. They're now collector's items. I'm trying to find one. But yeah, they were kind of going for the Jimi Hendrix crowd.
Oh yeah, I don't know how you would make like a digital bellows now or something.
You can actually.
Really?
Roland has synth accordions. If you have $3,000 to $6,000 burning a hole in your pocket, you can go to a synth or accordion store. There are a few in there's one in Clearwater. That's actually where I got this one from. But there are digital accordions with full-on synths that do not that have all the capabilities of a full-blown synthesizer.
Wow, that's so amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are they lighter or heavier?
They're heavy. Some of them are heavy, especially the ones with the built-in amps are heavier because amps are heavy because they're just big spools of copper wire.
We've been teasing this a lot. Do you mind if we get to it? I want to hear it. Yeah, I want to hear. I want to hear the head like a hole. We talked about that. Maybe some thong song. That would be
Oh
cool.
my gosh.
I gotta learn. You know, I have to learn thong song.
Yeah.
Bow down before the one you serve. You're going to get what you deserve. God, money, I'll do anything for you. God, money, just tell me what you want me to. God, money, nail me up against the wall. God, money, don't want everything he wants. And no, you can't take it. No, you can't. No, you can't take that away from me. No, you can't take it. No, you can't take it. No, you can't take that away from me. Everybody, head like a hole. Black as your soul. I'd rather die than give you control. Head like a hole. Black as your soul. I'd rather die than give you control. Bow down before the one you serve. You're going to get what you deserve.
Yeah! Standing applause. Standing applause. Standing applause.
You know,
Wow.
somewhere Trent Reznor just sat bolt upright in bed going, what was that?
Do you guys hear that shit? That was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And then, I'm working on some, the DevFest people asked me to work on at least one semi-Disney flavored programming song.
Ooh.
You know, and I'm sort of working on it. I'm hoping to have it ready by the afternoon, but it'll be about zero-based arrays. Start at O, start at O. Real arrays are indexed at 0. Because Visual Basic's wrong, as it's been all along. Math never bothered me anyway.
Yeah!
Great.
It's so perfect.
Well done, sir.
Well done.
Oh, that was great.
But I'll be wandering around as well, you know, in between speaking and minding the Ray Wenderlich booth. Yeah, sure, I'll throw in some music. And actually, anybody speaking here who needs an intro, I will do. You know, I have one for if John Papa needs an intro. I've got one from Microsoft. It's the Oompa Loompa Service Pack song. Have you ever heard it?
No.
This is from Microsoft. Oompa Loompa doopity doo. I would wait for Service Pack 2. If you don't, your screen might turn blue. Oompa Loompa Service Pack 2. I used to do that when I was at Microsoft. They used to go, stop that.
That's good.
That's awesome. Oh, Joey, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you
on.
so much.
Really
It's
appreciate it.
Always
fantastic.
fun hanging
Yeah.
out with the Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Always great.
And make sure you stick around and watch on January 31st. We're going to have Joey on the show. We're going to have a full show, and we're going to have a lot more of this.
Yeah, an hour long of him playing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
days.
that you know, maybe by then I'll we'll have released my new library, thong.js.
Song.js. Heck yeah.
Actually, we should see if that already exists, because usually you can type a word in and there already is a JavaScript library with that name.
Yeah.
But maybe there isn't a thong.js, and there
It'll
should
be a
be.
data library.
It should
You're
be.
killing Janelle.
See you guys later.
Thanks, everybody. Song you later.